Good morning, guys. I want to come on and give a thought for the day. One of the things to consider with conscious expansion is that it's not about tapping into higher energies. It's not about going ahead and raising your vibration. In order to do that, the first step is really being able to go ahead and observe and see the way the mind currently works. Spirit works off a principle saying that everything you have now is exactly what you have when you liberate. The only difference is how you perceive it. And what that really means is that we have everything we need to liberate right now. It's not a matter of gaining higher frequency. It's not about an initiation. It's not about a class, though all those could be helpful tools to help us have a realization. But the founding principle of conscious expansion still comes into the point that, simplifying it, you have everything you need right now. You're just not perceiving it in a way that actually, you know, works with what it actually is, being consciousness, who and what you are, the gift God already gave. And so I wanted to come on and share a point, just a thought for the day. Consider our lives. There's nothing that we do that we don't become. If we're focusing on a new job, we get that job. And whatever the work environment is, the personalities involved, the process, the energy that it holds, when we first get there, we feel like an alien. We feel like we're on the outside looking in. We have a hard time adapting to, a growing process of adapting to the energy that's there, the processes, the people, the way they think, the way they act, the way they interact. And everything we do feels like it's twice as hard than it should. And we call that the learning curve. But the learning curve is nothing more than really becoming adaptive to the energy and the frequency that's there. And whatever is there, blessing or curse, we become. And there's those who will say, for example, in a job where it's a intense job, oh, well, I'm white lighting, I am not becoming part of that group conscious, I am learning to be there without going ahead and taking that energy in. It's still an interesting aspect of the mind to understand that whatever it is that we are involved with, has our attention, it's still within our mind and we are becoming it. Even in that situation of saying that you're going to go ahead and white light yourself and protect yourself, picture it this way. It's like a wild animal that has a noose on one of its back hindquarters. So, okay, so you sit down, you white light, you say that you're in peace, but all the things that you're doing is still in relation to the fact that you got a noose on your back hind leg. You're still not being, you're being, counter to what's in that job. So it's in that sense, we're still there. There's nothing that we do in our lives, and there's a whole aspect of looking at when we want something and it doesn't work. Different lesson, different understanding. Let's focus on when it does work, because we do have a life. Can't deny that. We have relationships, good and bad. We have family relationships, friendship relationships, relationships with our work, relationships in public, relationships with church, and all of those different things, whatever we choose to give our attention to, it changes us. Whatever's going on in that situation, that frequency, we become, whether we like it or not. We choose an unhealthy relationship, we become it, warts and all. It affects us. We choose a great uplifting spiritual church, whether we like it or not, and we have in a sense a lower frequency than that church, it raises us, it affects us. Whatever we give our attention to, you can't deny that we become. We gain the experience of whatever it is we give our attention to, wholly and freely. We become whatever it is we're paying attention to. And there's the principle whether you're taught that as a spiritual rule, and usually because we're trying to manifest something more than what we currently have, or at least that we think that it's more. And again, why does that not work out the way that we think? Different subject. What I want to focus on today for the thought of the day is, why does it work? Why does it always work? Why does it never fail? unless we get ejected out of the energy that we're trying to focus on because we don't have the frequency to belong there, we are always become that which has our attention. And when do we go ahead and leave it? When do we leave our relationships? When they no longer fascinate us and have our attention. There's lots of reasons to go in that, but the principle that holds true is that the moment that something captivates our attention, it starts dissolving and the relationship fades. And we say we need to let it go. We just need to stop giving it our attention, and it's not too long before something else catches our attention and we become that. We're always being something. And it's a powerful principle to bring into focus today, to really look at the fact of what it is that you're giving your attention to, and really realize and reflect when it comes to conscious changing, no matter what you give your attention to, you become it. You take it on, the whole experience, and it never fails. Never fails. It's tried and true. It's what makes our life go. Now, here's the principle, the thought of the day that I want to bring to people's attention. There's the energy of what is. And whether it's through spirit, books, inspirational writing, they talk about giving that space, that place of the divine, if you want to call it that, your attention. To know that it's the final answer, the only answer. And there's points where we're still enamored with the physical life, and that's why we don't give it to it, because we're not ready. We're not done exploring fear, anger, shame, guilt, and working with those energies, trying to go ahead and create what's already been created for us. The space that will always hold true. This gift that God already gave. But we think we could do a better job with it. We think we can attain it ourselves. We think that we can create it. And hence, it's our motivation to go through life. This didn't work. I'm going to try it again. This relationship didn't work. Okay, yeah, we go through periods where I wouldn't go with another person if you paid me. But eventually, at some point in time, we try it again. Same thing with a job. Same thing with friendships. Same thing with organizations. We always try it again. So the point that I want to say is, what if we reach a point where we want to give that attention to that quiet space within us? Would the same principle hold true? Would we have to become like that which we give our attention to? Is it possible that what this is really all about is what we're giving our power away to? On the one side, you have what we created and all of its multitude that comes with it, constantly rearranging it, constantly trying to find peace, constantly complaining we don't have peace, constantly looking and reviewing what we did wrong, that it wasn't peace, going to healers, thinking that getting rid of our past pain is going to go ahead and bring us that understanding that eventually will come into alignment. But in reality, after a while, it just comes up with new pain to deal with, new pain to heal. You know, we believe that it's going to take time and process, and that it will eventually come together, that which we're creating, to equal the whole of what we are, and we'll understand and have illumination. Is it possible that it has nothing to do with that? Is it possible that what it actually has to do with is that it's already been created for us? When you have an epiphany, your mind expands, and you're in that state of knowing, and there's nothing but peace. There's no thoughts, there's no emotions, they stop. And you just know that you know. And whatever the thoughts and emotions were, the situation you were dealing with before the epiphany is not the same situation that you find yourself in after the epiphany. It changes forever. Isn't that what we've been trying to do? And isn't the frustration that we don't know how to on a whim, manifest an epiphany and have another one. Epiphany is a momentary alignment of your mind to your higher self. That's where the knowing comes from. That's the space that's already been created for us. It's only going to tell us what we already are, the gift God already gave. And that's why there's no thoughts and emotions in there, because there's nothing to bring physical construct to. It's just a sense of being. It's a sense of knowing. It's before the physical, which is where our higher minds exist, is within that state of being. So is it possible, consider for the thought for the day, is it possible if we decided that I want to focus on that space in the epiphany? You can recall it any time. You could sit here and recall the last epiphany you have and sit within that space, because it doesn't follow time. It never fades. The feeling, the knowing, that experience is always there. What would happen if you train your mind to stay in that space and allow the alignment to happen? Would more thoughts and emotions change? Would it come faster and faster? What is the gift your attention gives you? Do you understand its true purpose? Do you understand its true potential? Because whatever you give it to, you become. Spirit says we're always being something. What are you choosing to be today? And do you have more options than you realize? Thought for the day.